Welcome to Inside the Force. I'm Greg Grunberg, a.k.a. Snap Wexley.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Hey everybody, welcome back Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello everybody.
Welcome back to a jam-packed episode.
Oh yeah.
We got a lot to go through here and some exciting news. And a fantastic interview. With someone very cool.
Cool little guest.
Yes. So we'll get into that kind of towards the end of the episode. Got so much to talk about. We've been off for a couple weeks, so got a couple episodes of Rebels to talk about. Got some episode 8 news to talk about. All kinds of other stuff. Some
comic book stuff.
Yeah, reviewed some comics. Got caught up on some of those. So a lot to get into. So let's dive right in. What we got on the movie front?
On the movie, well, there's some episode 7 stuff with the release of the Blu-ray.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Let's start off with that. Because last episode we talked about how pretty sure it was official when we talked about it. I thought it was.
I thought it was too.
That it was the digital release of the film would be put out on March 15th. On iTunes and I guess everywhere else, but it's not that. It's actually going to be released April 1st, am I correct, or April 5th?
No, well, April 1st is the digital.
Digital, yeah.
The Disney HD, digital, and Disney Movie Anywhere.
Right.
Blu-ray combos and DVDs on April 5th.
Okay. So, wait a few more weeks, but that's totally fine. It's totally okay. I still hope that the digital copy will have all the special features, because this is supposed to be jam-packed with awesome features. A couple of the things... They actually have little teasers for some of these features. You can go out and find them. One thing, which both of them incredibly excited about, but one thing was the table read that they did, which I had no idea they filmed. That first cast photo that we got a year and a half, 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago.
Jeez Louise. Of that black and white photo of the entire cast doing the first table read, they filmed that. And the way it's described is we're going to see that table read. Now, I'm assuming... just because I think it'd be awesome, that it'll be literally, I don't know how, a 2-hour long video of them just reading through the script.
I
hope it's that, because that would be so awesome for me. I love little things like that. Really cool, excited for that. Another thing is a documentary about The Force Awakens, and the title is The Secrets of The Force Awakens, and it's like a feature-length documentary, just behind the scenes, full disclosure of just everything behind, spoiler-wise, everything about the film. There's a teaser for that as well. It's actually premiered, I think, just today, or maybe just yesterday, or something like that. Premiered at South by Southwest Film Festival in Austin. And, yeah, I think it was actually today, while we're recording this. So, this documentary, in the teaser, if you watch, it's really cool. They talk about, I think they show audition tapes of John Boyega, maybe even Daisy Ridley, but you see a glimpse of John Boyega's audition tape. Just interviews from the cast. Daisy Ridley talking about not being prepared and ready for the day one of shooting. Like she says, I just realized first day we were shooting, holy crap, we're shooting this, and I'm nowhere near ready for it. And then Adam Driver and Harrison Ford talking about the big climactic scene with Han Solo, about the dramatic intensity of that just on set amongst the cast and the other crew, and just the importance of what that means. It's really cool. Go watch the teaser. It's amazing. I'm very excited for it, but I will definitely, and I hope it's all in the digital release, but
right.
I really hope it's, but you pre-ordered it already.
Yeah. Real quick, there's different versions of it, unfortunately. So if you're the collector,
right,
you might want to get them all. I don't know. I'm probably going to get 2 of them. I already pre-ordered just the regular packaging, which is the Blu-ray DVD combo from the Disney store, because if you do that and there's limited supply, they'll give you 4 lithograms that are really nice. They're about 11 by 17s. There's four of them. One is the TIE fighters in the distance against the sun, like the Apocalypse Now shot.
Right. Awesome.
There's the Han and Chewie shot in the trailer. And then there's Rey kind of fixing BB-8's antenna. And then there's a shot of Kylo on Maz Kameda's planet. I can't remember what that's called.
Takodana, I think.
So that's really cool. I didn't even know. I walked in there and they were like, "Hey, we got these lithograms." And I'm actually, it's sad, not sad. I'm a regular there, so they know me by name now. I'm not even joking. Like I was in there because I go in there. I was going in there every other week leading up to buy those elites,
right?
Those elite series, right? And then all of a sudden, I started going every other Tuesday to buy sums, right? For what they call them, zoom zooms, or something like that. Yeah. I think they're zoom zooms. We call them sums. For Sam. So I've been going in there. So, almost every weekend if we're out, we'll stop in there if we're at the mall. So I walk in there to buy Sam. We were going to get something for Sam. And then someone said, "Hey, do you know we can pre-order this for the lithograms?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'll get that." So as soon as I went up there and bought it, the woman behind the register goes, "We'll see you later, David." And I was like, "Okay.
Come back."
And then, I'm not even joking, everyone in the store said, "Bye, David." They're yelling it. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And they're like, I was like, "Where is she?" Because there's one of them that knew me there a lot that was there. Like, she's in the back. She just wanted to tell everybody. She told everybody in their earpiece to tell me bye. So as we're walking out, like, "Bye, David,
great.
bye, David, bye, David." I'm like, "Are you kidding?"
That's Disney, yes.
Yeah, it's awesome. Disney is pretty awesome. And we just booked our Disney trip for the fall again.
Yes. Oh.
Anyway, so there's that. And then there's 3 other retail versions. There's a Target version that's got different packaging on it. It is packaging that's it's a combination of all the posters, the individual posters that they had with the
character faces. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a collage of that on the cover. And I don't think, and what's different about that though, besides the cover, apparently there's 20 more minutes of bonus content on there that's not on anything else. Yeah, I'm like, what, are you kidding me? Dang it. So that's the Target exclusive.
Yeah. And
then you got the Walmart exclusive. Now, Walmart is only a different packaging, and it's simply just a BB-8. It's BB-8 on Jakku.
Okay.
So that packaging is just different. And then you have what I'm going to get, as the other one I was going to get, is the Best Buy exclusive, which is the Steelbook. Like, they came out with those Steelbooks.
Yeah.
So it's another Steelbook for Force Awakens. Same content, though. So the Target one is the only one that has additional content.
Well, that might be the one.
I'm hoping maybe the digital version has that.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know.
Usually iTunes, or other things will do that. They'll add that bonus features on there.
Because it doesn't say exactly what it is. It just says comes with exclusive packaging and an added 20 minutes of bonus content, including never before seen interviews with Daisy Ridley and John Boyega and a deeper look at the movie's costumes and weaponry. Okay, so maybe that's what it is. Mm-hmm. Just some interviews with Daisy and John Boyega, and then costuming. So, maybe if you're interested in that, you might want to get the Target. But again, 4 different packagings. Target with a bigger, more, and then the 3D version is actually later this year. So don't expect the 3D version in April. So yeah, I've already pre-ordered. I can't wait to get it. I'm actually going to probably April 1 buy the Disney digital version anyway. I don't care, which is weird because I'm not sure how it works, because if I pre-ordered, I would think I should get a code for the digital version.
Yeah, I wish,
but
that it would be ideal. You're right.
But usually you don't get the code until you open the packaging.
Right.
So anyway.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. All right. So that's episode 7.
Yeah, episode 7. Episode 8, or I guess Rogue One. We'll go Rogue One first. We'll go in chronological order.
Chronological, yeah.
So Rogue One, which is coming so soon. Months away.
It's 280 days I saw, or something like that. Ridiculous.
Still hardly 275 days.
275, wow.
Still hardly anything being released officially by Disney. However, we've gotten supposed leaks, which they seem pretty, well, at least one seems pretty legit, of a teaser trailer that we'll be getting, I think, before Civil War. Right?
Correct.
And it's a short teaser, though, and if you watch it, there's no spoilers in it at all. It's pretty much like the teaser that was shown at Comic-Con last summer with a couple different shots, other little just cool, pretty shots, whatever, like TIE fighters and stuff like that. But still nothing. Nothing coming out.
Although, which I don't know if this is going to happen or not, but I'm just throwing it out there because it'd be smart to do it. Civil War technically opens May 6th, the Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, May the 4th.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you actually release it probably on Wednesday? I would anticipate it's actually going to come out on that day. And then it'll run with Civil War that weekend.
Yeah, that's
come on, May the 4th. You gotta give us that something on May the 4th.
May the 4th, yeah. Maybe also some photos of Episode 8 being shot right now, which is a good segue to talk about Episode 8. They've been shooting for almost a week now in Ireland, and I'm trying to pull up the town name because it's got a cool little Irish name, like Dubrovnik or something like that. It is Ireland, I think, they're actually in, right?
I think so.
It's Ireland. So they've been shooting in this little, what looks like a city square kind of thing, city streets, Star Wars city streets, I guess I could say, like more like a Naboo type of, or even for me, Corellia, like it kind of feel. It's like a lot of stone streets, stone facades. They've been building a lot of these storefront kind of things.
I'd love to see Corellia.
Yes, I mean it seems makes it now.
Actually, it makes more sense maybe for Rogue One to be on Corellia.
Part of it, yeah.
Because isn't well, he's not canon, right? The
Garmbell Bliss.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he's not canon. Unless they throw him in, which would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
I mean, come on, why not?
Because Chandrilla, she's from Chandrilla.
Right, Mon Mothma is, and then Bella Bliss is Corellian. And then you have
because he had the ships.
Yeah.
And Bale had the money from Alderaan.
However, they still shooting, and they've been releasing some photos of the set, props, speeders, little things like that. There's a photo apparently that's supposed to be showing like a new creature. I haven't actually seen it yet, but nothing crazy coming out. And I've heard different things of how Rian Johnson will not be as secretive. I don't know. He'll kind of have more of a strategic way of releasing information, like here and there. I don't know, but seems like security has been just normal. Like they haven't released hardly anything at all because Daisy Ridley's been there. They're pretty sure Daisy Ridley's been there. John Boyega just released a photo last week of him working out. He's definitely getting ripped.
Dang, is that a double-bladed lightsaber?
It was photoshopped in there, so I think
he's doing a barbell.
I think so. They just kind of photoshopped it, but I mean, yeah, it's going very well. It seems like Warwick Davis, I think, was there on set to visit or have a little bit part again. He shot a little video there, so there's some stuff. Looks pretty cool. I mean, they've blocked off an entire
Warwick
city.
Davis was in episode 7, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was one of the creatures in Maz's cantina.
Okay, yeah, I actually forgot about that.
But
speaking of Gar and Bella Bliss, people don't know. Obviously, he's a expanded universe character.
Right.
I'm surprised they haven't put him in the card game yet.
Oh, they definitely should.
Yes, they should have done a long time ago.
Yeah, him is like, yeah,
and they need to make a better Bail Organa too. I mean,
yeah.
Bail Organa. But anyway,
yeah.
Little side note.
That's another show. Go watch
that
it.
Is
listen to it.
thecombatguild.com.
Boom. Plugged. It's been plugged.
Automatic.
So that's episode 8. What else? Is there anything else I'm missing from episode 8? I mean, there's
a bunch of like
quiet. A little rumors here and there.
The big one that we kind of heard is Lando is in episode 8
potentially.
That's been a rumor for a long time though, because apparently there was rumors they were trying to put him in 7 somehow, but it seems like he's not really part of the resistance. He kind of.
That would make sense.
I mean, he seemed like he would just join the rebellion to do what he did, for a return, and then gone his separate ways. But no, I think it's, episode 8 is one of the things where, you got. I mean, it's just, I mean, just think about it. You don't. For one, it's only 2 years away from the last movie, unlike 3 years between the other ones, right? But it wasn't like episode 1, 2, and 3 where you had nothing in between. For 3 years, you had nothing.
Yeah.
Now we have Rebels. We have Rogue One coming up. You know what I mean? You got all these books and comics. It's like it does make it seem like it's going by quicker.
It does, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because my anticipation right now for Rogue One is at an all-time high. I mean, and it's going to be even higher once I see some footage from it. Mm-hmm. There's a little movie called Batman vs Superman coming out that I'm excited for. But once that's done, it's like you got Back to Star Wars, because there's obviously Civil War and stuff like that. But Rogue One is. I mean, I'm stoked for Rogue One.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say it enough. And I think when we finally see something with it, I mean, I'm gonna dissect even more so. I feel like than Episode 7, because Episode 7 is just you knew where everybody came from. You know,
Sure.
you knew. I mean, you didn't know the gap, the 30-year gap, obviously, but you knew you were going to see Han and Leia and Luke eventually and Chewbacca, and you knew the story already that the Empire. But
Right.
this is, I mean, these are characters we've never heard of. Mm-hmm. We have no idea who they are. You know the story, but it's just like honestly, it's just like when you saw A New Hope when Obi-Wan was like. Or Luke was like, you fought in the Clone Wars, that whole vision of the Clone Wars, you had that in your head. And fortunately, we got a whole series on the Clone Wars. But just think if we got like 3 movies of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
How awesome that would have looked.
Ridiculous.
Live action.
Yeah.
Oh man. But now it's like, Rebel spies, they stole the plans and beamed them aboard the ship. And Vader was talking about that, right? And then you're envisioning now what that was like stealing, and you're going to see it in live action. I mean, it just blows my mind, and I just can't wait to see what's going to happen with that. And
I'm very curious too to see how, if at all, it connects to the Rebels TV show. I mean,
totally,
it should.
It should.
There's so many things. It's such close time proximity. So
I mean, if
you think so.
If Ahsoka showed up, I'd probably poop my pants.
Oh man!
I mean, for real.
Yeah.
I mean,
or even
isn't that not potential?
Any of the ghost characters.
Yes.
Kanan.
Yeah.
Spectre characters, I should say. Yeah, Kanan, Ezra, or Zeb, Sabine.
Any of them.
Hera, like Chopper, like a live action Chopper.
Oh man, yeah.
To see the ghost in live action movie, just kind of come in. I don't know, man. Like it would be. I don't know how it tied in, because it's still like you said, it's interesting. Like we do know the story in a way. We know this time period somewhat, like the time period leading up to Episode 4, but it's even more of a mystery of like what in the world's going to happen to all these characters. Like all the Rogue One characters, what's going to happen to all of them?
Yeah,
because they don't show up. So are they just going to die?
They're somewhere. Maybe there's somewhere.
Yeah, maybe there's somewhere. It's like Ahsoka. It's like we all thought she was going to die at the end of Clone Wars, but then she didn't. Then she's in this, and she might die in this. Who knows what's going to happen?
I mean, technically, Darth Maul is still alive.
He is. He's definitely like within 4 years of Episode 4. He was around.
He is around.
What?
I mean, what?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So yeah, I mean, we could get a live action Darth Maul again
if he shows up again.
I mean, here's the thing too: is there's Han Solo movie happening in between that time.
Yeah,
that he's still around. I don't know. Probably
Han
not.
Solo would be. Yeah, they're around. Their circles could cross.
That's crazy how much they're and I've the utmost confidence in like Leland Chi and Pablo Hidalgo that they've mapped this out.
Yes.
It sounds like every time you hear them on interviews and stuff like that, they've ever since this story group was formed. I mean, they've been mapping these things out like crazy. Mm-hmm. So, and when you talked about how they have movies beyond,
actually,
right?
just reminded me. So they talked about where Disney. It sounds like they have plans for movies for the next 5 years after 2020. Because right now they have 7, 8, 9, and they have the 3 anthology films that leads right up until 2020.
Which we don't really know what the third anthology film is.
Right. And then, honestly, when we first got this whole stuff about Star Wars and Disney on all that, I thought it was pretty much understood that we'll be getting a Star Wars movie every single year indefinitely.
Yes. Until people stop going.
Yeah, exactly. So it sounds like they didn't really have that clear intention, or at least that thought out plan of, we're going to keep doing this. I guess they were waiting to see the success.
But there is no mention yet of 10, 11, 12.
Right. I mean,
so
that I don't know if they would do that. I'm okay if they don't have any more saga films.
I'm totally okay with that.
When the Skywalker story is done, so just start giving other sequels, other trilogies, other franchises of Star Wars. You can have.
I mean, restore it back to where there's thousands of Jedi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then tell those stories.
Yeah, go back to the old Republic. You can do the Sith Wars. You can do later on down the generations.
I hope they do Darth Bane. They have to. I think you have to.
Yeah, you'd have to.
He's canon, and that whole story of 2 is canon. So,
and now with Netflix and everything, and there's with the big deal Disney has with them, you'd be having Netflix movies, Netflix shows.
Don't be surprised if Disney ends up buying Netflix one of these days.
Oh yeah, probably.
I mean, they buy everything else, right?
So it's very exciting. Very, very exciting times.
Okay, so moving on to Rebels.
Yes, Rebels.
So Rebels, we got some very awesome episodes to talk about. I kind of want to breeze through the last. I had seen last time we talked. I had seen the episode called "The Honorable Ones," which was Zeb and Agent Callus heavy. They both get stranded on a moon by Geonosis. The episode's about them going and investigating what happened to the Geonosians.
Yeah,
because there's not they're with all the life on there, they're reading no life on Geonosis, which was really neat because Pablo Hidalgo said in Rebels Recon was like, we're going to tell that story of what happened to them.
That is very bizarre.
And it looks like they're building the Death Star. They started building the Death Star in the atmosphere there. That's what I think what all that junk was.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. It was that. I think the story a little bit is that they were started to build, but something happened and they moved the location of the Death Star, right?
That would be
because
cool.
Again, what's cool about Rebels, right? They don't know about it. I don't think, right? No one knows about the Death Star,
right.
So that would be an interesting. Hopefully, maybe I don't know, season 3 or 4. Maybe they eventually find out about it, or someone does. I don't know.
Stumble upon it and they get smoked.
Because right now there's no canon about where it is. Right, no one knows where it's being built because it's still being built.
Maybe they just moved it to wherever the heck it was at the start of episode 4, I guess.
Well, I think it was just floating in space somewhere. I don't know.
Around, yeah.
Because I don't think it technically has to orbit. It just because it has its own thrusters and everything on it, right? So
it's I do want to learn more about the Death Star.
Yeah.
Like, how in the world does it operate?
Well, it uses again, I don't know if it's canon.
Yeah.
But it was explained in the expanded universe that it has hyperspace
Yeah.
capability, and it
Yeah.
uses the kyber crystals for the energy.
I wonder. Yeah, it's probably in the Tarkin book. They probably talk about it a lot.
They might.
Bad.
So anyway, in that episode, I thought it was really good because they have to work together. There's these beasts on there, and and Callus gets his leg hurt, so he's kind of really good.
They're like a polar cap of Geonosis,
Yes.
some icy part which you didn't think was part of Geonosis.
No,
Very cool.
and eventually they have to get to the surface to get the signal out. The Ghost team comes and saves Zeb before the Empire does, and it's really neat because the conversations they have, it kind of leaves it at the end where Callus is actually questioning.
Yeah,
we actually got a. I'll look it up. Go ahead and talk about what you thought about it.
I absolutely loved it. I didn't expect this kind of story to come. I figured Callus would just be your run-of-the-mill Empire villain, and this episode was quite intriguing. We might actually get a defective Imperial. We might actually see that happen, which would be really cool. Yeah, because at the very end, it has Callus just sitting in his chambers, just in his boring, dull room, and then just sitting on his little bed, kind of just thinking to himself. But it was quite interesting, just the whole dynamic between Zeb and Callus, because they've had a history in these previous episodes of how Callus was around when apparently the Empire murdered all the Lasats, and then there's a moment in the episode where Callus actually, in a way, apologizes for his role in that genocide, and how he says he didn't know that they were going to do that, but he just he had to go along with it anyway. So it's really, really interesting how much they've added to this character.
Yeah, so our buddy Anton, who listens to us on the Combat Guild as well, but he mentioned on here, he's like, he says, we're wondering if you had anything more to say about the latest Rebels episode, Death Star, Callus turns, and he's like, and he said something along the lines of, someone responded to him saying that he said, I reckon Death Star prototype. And hell yes, he will. And then Anton says he's got to be something big. It's got to be something it's got to be something big. The fact that the Geonosis and genocide was glossed over, I'd be upset if they didn't basically talk about what happened there. So, but yeah, rest assured, I think Pablo on the Rebels Recon mentioned that that story will be told, what happened on Geonosis. So, very, very interesting.
Talking about these little objects
like
floating
that.
around it.
Like that was kind of the beginning stages of maybe the Death Star being built, or maybe that's the remnants of it after they moved it.
Yeah, maybe like the spare parts.
Yeah.
Just leave it there.
Yeah. So it's possible. I don't know.
In the EU, there was a prototype Death Star
Correct.
that came back and was almost nearly as powerful as the actual Death Star.
Yes.
So maybe they'll fight that. I don't know.
So very good episode, but then we got to get into the big episode that really changed things for the show. Shroud of Darkness aired not this past Wednesday, but the Wednesday before. It was on hiatus, I think.
Yeah.
It's on hiatus for a couple weeks, right? Is it new this week?
Maybe this week. I'm not sure.
I think it's actually next week, but
I will look it up.
Shroud of Darkness brought back a lot of names. Matt Lanter came back and voiced Anakin. You had Vader show up at the very end. You had Yoda. It's just a jammed packed episode. I mean, you're talking. You want to talk about the show being called Star Wars Rebels? This was mainly Star Wars Jedi.
It was.
I mean, this was full on the mythos of the Force.
Yeah.
And I just get chills when I watch this type of episode. You know, when they talk about, when I love the part when they first get there and they're returning back to the Jedi Temple in Lothal. Now, here's another interesting thing that I noticed at the end was that, Vader was obviously surprised that there was a Jedi Temple there, meaning that they truly don't know where all the temples are.
Yeah.
Jedis. Because think about it, Luke, right, in episode 8 or episode 7 was still searching for the original temple. Like you would think that they would have everything mapped out. I mean, or did all that information get lost after the Clone Wars?
I think that's
after the Empire,
Yeah, definitely part of it. I mean, Jedi's been around for millennia. I mean, you kind of assume that they had kept records and the technology was there for all that time to where they could have holocrons or something to keep all these records. But it's so vast and the galaxy's just so huge, you just don't. I guess even the Jedi can't have all their. They're just not aware of all the stuff that's going on. So I don't know how that would have happened. Like how Jedis would have created a temple and without anybody else knowing, or just how it just got lost throughout time. I mean, Lothal is on the Outer Rim, isn't it? Isn't it like
it's? I think it is kind of in the Outer Rim.
Let me see, because if that would make more sense.
Yeah,
that it's kind of out there. Let's see really quick. Lothal.
It's in
Outer Rim. Yeah, it's Outer Rim territories.
It's Outer Rim territories. Yeah. So, so this episode really, Ahsoka comes back and they're really trying to figure out why is it that they always run into, the fifth brother and seventh sister, right? Yeah. So they go to the Lothal Temple to see if they can seek their guidance from Yoda again. And, they all kind of start meditating, and it's funny because they each kind of see their own path before them, right? Kanan sees a door opening up that he kind of goes through, and Ezra all of a sudden starts talking to Yoda, and then Ahsoka sees, and then to begin with, Anakin, she shows him a holocron on Anakin training, right? Kind of talking about it, and another thing got brought up, right? The timing of things, right? And Dave Filoni talked about this later, how when asked, when was the last time you saw him? And she says, I saw him right before he went to go rescue the Chancellor. And then everything changed after that. Yeah. So that's right before episode 3.
So she probably just saw him, or maybe they actually had an encounter?
Well, Filoni said...
that episode...
Do what?
Unless that episode that we saw her... in Clone Wars was literally days before.
No, what Filoni was saying was that there was a lot more story that they were going to tell in Clone Wars about her not being gone. Right? They weren't. She didn't leave the show.
Right.
So there was story there, and eventually we will get those stories because I mean, let's face it. I mean, there's going to be Clone Wars. The Clone Wars isn't done. There's going to be stories coming out. There's too much story there to wrap it all up with Rebels without knowing some of these things. So the idea is that she was still around. She wasn't a Jedi, but she somehow still kind of got involved.
Yeah, I was forgetting the timeline of that last season, that season 5 of Clone Wars, of how she left, and I can't remember if there was like another episode later or anything like that, but that makes sense.
She was not in the Lost Missions,
right?
So that was the last time we saw her. Was walk away from the temple,
but somehow she encountered Anakin again.
Somehow so you got to think, roughly that took place maybe a few months before the end. I don't know. Who knows? Because there was still episodes later that still the Clone Wars was still heavily going on, right? So somehow she got involved again, and somehow they had crossed paths, and and then it was right before episode 3 that. So, which is cool to think, man. You show up in episode 3, and then he just left Ahsoka. I mean, it's just cool to think.
Last time I was watching episode 3, I was thinking that too. Like, I wonder, how much time has it been since he's seen Ahsoka?
Yes,
like he doesn't have any recollection of her.
So it's really neat when she starts seeing the vision of him in the temple.
Yeah.
About what I've become and all that. I mean, it's like, whoa.
Well, it's cool because it kind of helps me understand the Force a little bit better. How the Force was actually, because it wasn't Anakin or Darth Vader wasn't actually communicating to Ahsoka. Like that wasn't really
correct.
So it was the Force talking to her.
Yes.
So it was cool because it was telling me that the Force will actually inform them. The Force will actually give them information because the Force actually basically told Ahsoka Anakin is Vader. The Force told her that. She didn't know that, I guess, until that point. Same thing with...
I think she suspected it.
Yeah, probably. She felt it. Probably, we saw that in that first episode.
Yes.
And then the Force also told Kanan about another thing.
Yes. So we get into... he walks in basically a room.
Yeah.
And there's a temple guard there.
Yeah.
And these are temple guards.
Yeah.
So... which I think they were a big part of the expanding universe for a long time, and now they've introduced them back in the canon because we never really see them in the movies.
No.
But these are Temple Guard Jedis. Now, what's the crazy thing here is so he's fighting them, right, and fighting them, and then basically gets to the point where he sacrifices. He's going to sacrifice himself.
Yeah, it's kind of like a test, I guess. In a way.
Oh, totally. Well, it's a trial. It was a trial.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
it was his trial.
That's right.
So he basically is knighted.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. I got chills about it. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. You can get knighted by temple guards after the fact.
Well, the Force itself. The Force
basically, yes. Yeah, so that's what I was confused about. I mean, so there's not really temple guards there, right? Is it all just Force?
That's the Force.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Like it told me so much about it because then like those same temple guards came and fought brother and sister.
Correct.
Like...
That's why I was confused. Like, are they in the temple or not?
No, I think it just manifested itself so much, so potently that it could actually do damage to people, or at least just distract them and block them,
yeah. But the crazy thing is he sees the face of the one,
so
which is
if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, spoilers for sure. I mean, it's been out for a little while now, but they call him the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really have a name like Fifth Brother or anything like that, but they call him the Grand Inquisitor. So what did you make of that when you first saw that?
I mean, I definitely the Grand Inquisitor.
Because did you watch Rebel Recon?
I did. I think
get the explanation.
Pretty sure I did.
Because there's an explanation.
Oh well, I can't remember. Maybe I didn't see all of it. But the Grand Inquisitor definitely, he was a Jedi. He was a part of that, and I guess it makes sense because that's how he knows. Kanan's master. That's how he knows so much about the Jedi.
Yeah,
he was one. But yeah, what was it?
So what Filoni was talking about?
Yeah,
was that he wanted to illustrate. I want to go back and watch it again to make sure. But he basically wanted to illustrate that basically the Inquisitors are the Jedi Temple Guards.
Oh, all of them.
Yes.
Okay. See,
that's how they basically, when they wiped out the Jedi, they didn't wipe out the guards because they're not Jedi. They're Force sensitive.
Yeah.
And just like Inquisitors, they're not Sith.
Yeah.
They're just dark side apprentices, basically, right? Dark warriors.
Yeah.
So basically, they converted the the Jedi temples into Inquisitors. So that's where they are. So it's safe to say that Fifth Brother and Seventh Sister, they were basically Jedi Temple guards that converted into. So that's kind of what they were hinting at. So he was the Grand Inquisitor, was a Temple guard that became a Inquisitor.
That's really cool.
So maybe not all of them. I don't know for sure, but that's because that would mean possibly. Well, no, Mara Jade was actually a apprentice. I think. I don't think she was.
She was Emperor. Yeah, Emperor's Hand or whatever.
I don't think she was Inquisitor, but anyway.
Very.
But what a great show. So Ezra talks to Yoda.
Yeah.
Gets more guidance there. Kind of about his dark side, possibly.
Yep.
There's something bad's gonna happen there. Something bad's gonna happen there.
Hey,
I think Maul's the next episode, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. The next episode, I found it, is called The Forgotten Droid. Comes out. That's coming out this Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then one after that, episode 20 is The Mystery of Chopper Base, which I don't know if that has anything to do with Chopper. But how many episodes did we find out?
20? I think it's 22.
22, yeah. So we're coming to a close here. I guess I'll have some more breaks, perhaps. But yep. So Forgotten Droid's next.
But yeah, Shroud of Darkness was it was truly a game changer to me in this series. I think, I don't know about you, but I just never thought there would be this much Jedi stuff. Like I the Rebels, Star Wars Rebels was always about the war, but learning so much about, obviously bringing Ahsoka back does a lot of that, but Kanan and Ezra being Jedi is just such a good show. It's such a good show. But then, it does just, God, it raises so many questions about what happens to them.
Yeah. Yeah. They do such a great job of just creating so many questions, so many stories, so many mysteries that begs itself for more stories.
Absolutely.
It's like Rogue One. It's like we know the story. We should know the story, but they're creating these characters that's going to make me want to know more about them.
Yes.
So that, they maybe will get books about these characters and backstory. So it just keeps building on itself. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, you got to see it. Fantastic, just fight sequences as well, and of course at the very end you get Vader coming in and seeing the temple, and just fantastic. The Emperor wasn't in there, right? You didn't hear the Emperor. I thought maybe for a second. I thought maybe no, but incredible. I mean, Yoda, Vader in the same episode. Come on, it's great. So. All right, so moving on to let's talk about some comics, I guess here. I know that we haven't talked about those in a while, but the ones that we were kind of catching up on were some Vader books, I think, right?
Yeah. Vader, several titles.
So Vader, so the last big storyline was the big crossover called Vader Down, right? So we talked about that. So beyond that, it kind of kicks off this new storyline after Vader Down.
Kind of gets back to where it left off before Vader Down,
right?
Like with these random other, I don't know, they're not Sith, I guess. These other little Emperor sidekicks,
yes,
like these twins, and you have that cyborg dude, which honestly got a little strange before Vader Down. Introducing all these little characters that are vying for Emperor's attention, and Vader's like trying to get back Emperor's good favor, so he's like kind of battling these other Emperor sidekicks, whatever. So back to that, and then he's trying to find Captain Afra or Dr. Afra, and she's captured, right?
Yeah,
she's captured, and she's pretty formidable herself. She's on that ship with Leia and some bounty hunter, and then she gets put in a prison. This like apparently really heavily fortified prison next to this big sun, and then Vader's like going to find her and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it looks like it's a pretty cool story, but it's just these other little characters that they're introducing that are like those twin Jedi guys or whatever they are, and then those that cyborg dude got a little strange, but
I agree.
Good little. I mean, anything with Vader, he's fantastic. His story is fantastic, and I do like Dr. Afra. I've grown to like her as a character.
Yeah. The storyline, basically, what's happening is called the Shu-Torun War. So it's completely separate, like you said, it's a completely separate storyline than going on what's happening with the Rebels. So it is different right now, definitely. But let's see. So what else did you read?
So I'm caught up on Kanan and Anakin Obi-Wan.
Yeah, what do you think of Anakin Obi-Wan?
That's cool.
Number 2.
I enjoy it. It's I actually just watched Attack of the Clones last night. Rewatched it and just got me thinking like all the things that they could have gone through in those 10 years. And I'm very excited that we're getting those stories to see some of those trials that Anakin was put through. And this comic, though, in particular is interesting because we got a little bit of Anakin. No, I guess I don't know if he was struggling, but there's like a force ability. He comes across these indigenous creatures where he has to like try to tame them, kind of like what Ezra does. He's trying to like tame them with the force, and he can't do it, so he has to like kill all these creatures. Obi-Wan's telling him, don't try not to kill them. They don't know, they're just doing what their instincts tell them to do. Let's try to peacefully get rid of them. But Anakin, he struggles with it because he's not strong enough in that ability to tame animals, so he just ends up killing them all. And it's just a good moment. I love that moment because and that's kind of what I thought. I wish episode 1, even though he was a child, I wish episode 1 showed that a bit with Anakin, where more of that struggle with Anakin's ability to either give into this kind of violent side or come across as, or go into more of the peaceful side of things. So that balance with the light and dark side. So this comic was great with that. I'm hoping we get more of that with Anakin. I'm hoping we get more of his struggle. That kind of would give more justification to his turn, his fall, and Revenge of the Sith. But it's cool. It's a good storyline. I like it so far.
Yeah, it was an interesting scene too with Palpatine actually. He Anakin and Obi-Wan kind of talking to them because Anakin's so young and not having any idea what's happened to him right there. Kanan. I read Kanan number 11. This was continuing still on the first blood thing where he's still kind of out of it. He's still in the whatever the
back to tank thing,
the tank where the restoration tank or something like that. But it kind of hints back to the fight with Grievous,
right,
and his master, and kind of the clones, and stuff like that. So he's still recalling a bunch of that before he does eventually wake up and get back out of the chamber. So continues on in the next. It's called First Blood, is what this storyline's going on. So it's pretty good. I mean, I like Kanan. It's actually one of the 3 only ongoing ones that are happening now. Because that was always the interesting thing that I always thought when they announced the comic series. I was always like, wow. So I wonder how many ongoings there's going to be, and they're not doing a lot of that. They're doing these 5-issue series, which I actually prefer.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to have like a Star Wars series.
Correct.
Darth Vader. I think there's plenty of stories you can tell with Darth Vader that could last, at least several years.
Well, I think what they're doing is they're doing the Rebel side, and then they're doing the Emperor side with Vader. And then Vader is obviously the most probably popular Star Wars character ever, right? So they're trying to get that going and tell his story as well as the story of Star Wars of the Rebel side of things. But it's surprising that Kanan is the one that's the other ongoing series, right? And
did we also miss doing a recent Star Wars one? Because it had another Obi-Wan chapter.
Well, I was about to say, there's Star Wars 16 was the one that came out.
Yeah, I love getting that side. Like the Rebel side.
Was there no Obi-Wan? No, this one was
maybe
this was a new series, new arc called Rebel Jail. I actually haven't read this one yet. Have you read it?
No,
it's Star Wars number 16. So I got to catch up on that.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the other Obi-Wan.
Well, maybe it's just I haven't read it in a while. But it was where he was trying to protect Luke, and Owen comes after him and says, stay away from Luke. He's, I don't want him to have anything to do with the Jedi business, that kind of stuff. It was just really cool. I don't know if we talked about it or not, but
that might have been. Was that before Vader Down?
It might have been. I just probably haven't read it yet.
Yeah, it's probably. Well, I think it was. I think that was a while ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll catch up on that. 16. I don't know. I'll kind of before we leave, I'll say what's coming out this week. And I don't think anything came out last week. So we'll.
When's the Poe comic? That's
the Poe comic. I think that's April.
Yeah.
I think that's April, and then they just announced the Han Solo series, book series, come out in June.
Awesome. I'll be reading that.
Yes, absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. I like because I actually just bought the trades for the Chewbacca trade, and I bought the I had the Leia one already. I think I bought Star Wars the Volume 1 and Vader #1. So, but because that's what's good about it. If you don't want to, if you know it's only going to be like Obi-Wan Anakin, I think is only a 5-issue series.
Right.
So once that's done, you could actually buy the whole trade
Yeah.
and just read that story one time.
Right.
And you get caught up, and trades are real. I like trades.
Yeah.
I like trades a lot. I do collect some books, obviously. Some of the DC ones and definitely some of the Star Wars ones. But I love picking up a trade and sitting down, just reading 6 issues in a row and getting the whole story. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll catch up on that for you a little bit later on. So all right, so. I guess next, before just some brief other things, if you guys are familiar, if you guys are sports guys, so the This Is Madness bracket started again, right? It started today, which is Monday. We're doing Monday, March 14th right now. So the first round of This Is Madness, you can vote today. Which by the time this comes out, it's not today, but it's Obi-Wan. It's episode 4 Obi-Wan versus Padme. Episode 2 Padme. Obi-Wan right now is leading 88% of the vote. Then you got Vader versus Fifth Brother. Vader's got 97% of the vote. So this is the 4th year that they've done this. It's really cool. They've incorporated a lot of Rebels people in here and Episode 7 people in here. So Finn is in there.
Oh, it's Kylo.
Older Han Solo.
That's awesome.
You've got BB-8. You've got Rey. Now what's cool? You can't do it now, so hopefully you did it before. But you could have filled it out just like the basketball bracket early on and see what you did. See if and actually there's a challenge now that you can actually enter a contest. That's cool. So I do want to repeat the previous winners, just in case this influenced you at all. But the very first year, which was 3 years ago, 2012, was Yoda. I'm sorry, 2013 was Yoda. 2014 was episode 2 Obi-Wan.
Right.
Was Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan. Because they do different Obi-Wans.
Yeah.
It's not the same one all the time. And then you had last year was the first time Vader won. Vader was in the finals, I think, every year.
Yeah.
And he lost to Yoda, he lost to Obi-Wan, then he finally beat Yoda last year. So this year, it's the 4th year. I, surprisingly enough, listened to my Final Four. And I just happened
From
to
last
just
year?
No, this year's.
This year, okay.
This bracket right now.
Yeah.
I was picking them.
Yeah.
My Final Four was Luke against Rey and Vader against Kylo Ren. And then I actually picked Luke and Vader, and then I got Luke to win.
Yeah.
I think Luke. I think it's this year.
Which Luke is it?
Jedi Luke.
Okay.
Yeah, not episode 7 Luke. It's episode 6 Luke.
Yeah.
So he's never been in there. It's always been like episode 4, episode 5.
Yeah.
This is the first time he's got the green
Jedi,
lightsaber.
Jedi Luke. Yeah, I think he's got
Jedi Luke. I mean, Sabine. So let me just go through the pairings right now. You've got in the first round, you've got, like I said, episode 4 Obi-Wan. So Alec Guinness Obi-Wan against Padme. You got R2 versus Sabine. You got Jedi Luke versus Hera. You've got episode 7 Han against episode 7 Chewbacca. You got Yoda. It looks like Empire Yoda against Finn. You got older Ahsoka, Rebels Ahsoka against BB-8. Rey against Ezra. Older episode 7 Leia versus Poe Dameron. And then on the dark side, you've got Vader versus Fifth Brother. You got Seventh Sister against Jabba. You got Sidious against Ventress. You got Maul versus Tarkin. You got Kylo Ren versus Jango. You got Dooku versus Captain Phasma. You got Boba Fett versus General Hux.
That's cool.
And you got Grievous versus Agent Callus.
I wouldn't be surprised if Rey wins it all, actually.
I would not be surprised either. But I think this is Luke's year. I'm pulling for Luke.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's on StarWars.com. Every day, a new matchup you can vote on. I think leading up to the obviously the next over the couple of weeks while March Madness is going on. All right, so skipping over to what happened this past weekend.
Yes.
We were at LexCon, Lexington Comic and Toy Convention here in Lexington, Kentucky. This is the 5th year of it, and this thing has grown exponentially over the years with some big guests. This year, I'll just skip right to it. We had the chance to meet a fantastic guest, and we have an interview with him that we're going to play a little bit of it right now here on the show. But we talked to Greg Grunberg.
Yes.
And if you guys know who he is Snap Wexley in The Force Awakens. For you guys that don't know, he also was most famous for Matt Parkman on Heroes, the telekinetic cop,
officer,
right?
Yeah.
I loved Heroes for a while.
Yeah.
It got really bad towards the end.
Yeah.
I didn't say this to him, obviously, but man, what a gracious host. He kind of we actually. The big thing I want to talk about, which he'll probably say, he's coming out with a brand new show this fall,
right?
Called Geeking Out. Him and Kevin Smith pitched this idea to AMC, and we actually helped with the production company I work for. We actually helped him shoot some bits for it. So our stuff's gonna be on AMC. But he was gracious enough. He had a booth set up to where he was doing some meet and greets and some Q&As, and then we had a chance to talk to him yesterday. So. What we're going to do is we're going to play just a sample of it, a little bit of the interview. Now, we videoed the interview, so the whole interview is going to be up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/21network. So go there, and you can see the full interview in its entirety. But right now, we'll just play a little bit of it, a little bit of stuff from mainly the Star Wars stuff like Episode 7, his experience on there. So let's do that real fast before we come back. Here's Greg Grunberg at LexCon here in Lexington, Kentucky. How are you, sir?
Dude, I'm better now that I'm on your show.
That's right.
But I'm doing good. I mean, everybody is so sweet. I have to say I'm exhausted from this show because everybody that comes up is so nice that my smile exhausts me. The time I'm spending with everybody and want to spend with everybody, it's just at the end of the day, I'm just collapsing because I love it so much. Honestly, I'm not just saying that. Everybody's really, really nice.
So have you been to Lexington before?
I've been to Derby a couple times.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I've never been to Lexington, and now I want to bring my family back. I mean, this town, it's like small town feel, but it's a big place. So it's got the best of both worlds.
It is growing. It is definitely growing. So you obviously being a big star, everybody recognizes you from Heroes, Matt Parkman. But this last December, The Force Awakens.
My dream came true.
Yes.
My buddy JJ put me in Star Wars, man. I mean, I don't mind begging for parts. You know what I mean? I'm an actor. I got to do that.
Did you really have to beg for that?
Well, I mean, JJ and I have been working together for years. And,
right.
He's my oldest friend in the world. And when he said he was doing this, of course I said, okay, I know I've asked before, and we've worked it out. We've done it before, and we had a blast doing it.
Yeah.
You know, Alias and Felicity. He is, first of all, the best person and the best friend anybody could ask for.
Awesome.
So to spend time with someone, spend time with your best friend for life on a project like that, it's just incredible. We had the best time ever.
With canon, with the importance of the Star Wars canon now, we've talked about that a lot on our show.
Yeah.
I mean, you are etched as a character now. You know, basically they have a thing where, no one will repeat a character or something like that. So
yeah.
How's that feel to actually know? I mean, you're just in that universe forever.
It's incredible. I have to say, and I've noticed it at cons like this, where I'm part of collections. People want my signature on things that I've signed. I can't even count how many times. Next to Mark Hamill's name and Harrison Ford's name and Peter's name and Anthony. It's just incredible. Carrie Fisher's got a very sloppy signature. Carrie, sober up. What are you doing?
Right.
I love Carrie Fisher. I love all of them. It was so surreal being in the movie, and the thing is that they're all very disarming. So the second you're there, you're like, oh, they're just regular people. But I'm in the Millennium Falcon. I mean, it's ridiculous. So it's a dream come true.
I heard it in your Q&A today or yesterday about the second unit director giving you some lines that
so I'm shooting Star. This is a great Star Wars story. I'm shooting my X-Wing stuff, and I'm in this gimbal, they call it, and it's like riding a bull. So I'm in the cockpit, strapped in with the cameras, and they're throwing me lines. Watch out for ground fire. We got your back, Poe. Woo! woo, like all this crazy stuff. And they go, okay, we got all the good stuff. And I'm making up stuff to make JJ laugh in the edit room and all this fun stuff.
Right.
Then they go, okay, we need you to say I've been hit. I'm going down. And I'm like, I'm not saying any of that shit. I'm like, no way. I don't want to die. Let somebody else die.
Yeah.
So that I basically didn't say it. And they called over to JJ. They were like, he won't say this and this and this. JJ was laughing his ass off. He's like, that's my brother. That's my boy. So it was great.
So is it safe to say we're seeing you in episode
Snap
8?
Wexley, you never know. Snap Wexley, who knows? I'm part of the Star Wars family. It's so secretive, everything that they do, and for good reason. JJ can keep a secret, and it's just awesome. So I'm hoping that I'm in more. I didn't die. Snap Wexley lives. So we'll see. Who knows? I'll be just as happy as everybody else that seems to be happy, and asking me if I'll be in another movie.
All right, so that's just a little sample interview of.
Awesome.
Now I did obviously I did the talking, but Casey, you were right there. What did you think of? What did you think of Greg?
It was pretty cool. He's a cool dude. He's a pretty awesome, down to earth man. Doesn't have that like a celebrity kind of thing. He's very cool, and
he looks like any normal dude.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah. And he's doing a lot of great things, a lot of great causes that you guys will see in the video.
Yes,
and he's got his hands in a lot of awesome things. He's a good man. And it was just love hearing him talk. Like his stories. He's got some really great stories.
Yeah. So, and the story you heard just now was the story about him not saying those lines.
Certain lines. Yeah, it's fantastic. Very smart. Very, very, very smart.
That's what you could do when you're best friends with the director.
Like, I'm not gonna say because I don't want to die. I'm not doing it.
Because if he didn't know the director probably could fire him.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, you're fired.
Yeah.
But JJ was like, he ain't gonna say it. What are you gonna do? He's not gonna say it. What an awesome guy. So thanks to Greg. Again, like Casey was saying, he's part of a lot of big causes going on right now, and I want you guys to go watch that video because there's a thing about it at the end that he talks about. Now, what we're gonna do on top of that, what I want to do is I'm going to, if you go to our Facebook page and Twitter, I'll tweet this out eventually, maybe after the show, but we found the only figure that you can get of Snap Wexley. It's actually a 2-pack of him and a snowtrooper, but there's a figure out there with Snap Wexley for Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Now, what's cool is on his table at his signing, he had his own figure with the vintage back, but he only had some certain amount of those. Those weren't for sale; they were made for him. But these were on sale, and I bought the last one at the con this weekend, and I got him to sign it. He was gracious enough to sign it. So what we're going to do is, I told him we were just going to give it away on the show, but I actually feel like we need to put it towards a good cause. So we're actually going to auction this off. I'm going to throw this on eBay as a signed figure. Snap, Greg Grunberg, he wrote Snap on there. So we're going to auction this off on eBay, and all of the proceeds, every 100% of it, I'm going to send to him, and we're going to give it to his cause, which is epilepsy. He fights epilepsy. So we're gonna do that. So if you guys are really interested in trying to get this figure, a signed figure from Greg Grunberg, we'll tweet it out. We'll make sure we tweet it out daily to kind of and put it on Facebook daily, so you guys can see it and maybe bid on it. But yeah, that's real cool. I mean, I don't know how I'd like to keep it, but
we know a guy who really wanted this toy.
Yes,
would have paid a lot of money.
He would have. So
it's a good toy.
So yeah, look for that, and then again, go to our YouTube channel and watch the full interview with Greg Grunberg. He's got some really cool projects coming up that he talks about. Yeah. So, but yeah, real cool. I'm so happy to talk to him and get to know him, and he told me he'd call in and do a full big time interview on the show here too. So
fantastic.
And actually, you probably heard his voice in the front of this episode.
Yeah. They might, we probably did that.
Probably. I'll do that. Yeah. He was gracious enough to put a plug in for us. Man. Yeah. He's so cool. All right. Let's see. What else? I think that's all I really wanted to mention.
A couple little news things, a little more things. There's a new kids book series coming out called Star Wars Adventures in Wild Space. I believe you can buy the first one on Amazon now for it's relatively cheap. It's a junior novel. Has some new characters, some younger characters. Looks cool. Looks good. It's trying to figure out exactly when it's set, when it takes place. So I can find the I can't find the synopsis here for you, but it's a book series. So the first one is called Star Wars Adventures of Wild Space: The Escape, written by let's try this is very small font here. Written by Cavan. So written by Cavan Scott. And then the second book, which comes out soon, is called The Snare, and the third one's called The Nest. Not entirely sure how many. I think there's quite a few books in the series. But if you like the junior novels, it actually looks like it might be pretty interesting. It's set in the Empire days. Go check it out on Amazon. Star Wars Adventures in Wild Space: The Escape. So it's got new characters. Again, as I said, the kid characters. It's got a little droid character and some Imperials. It looks like it's all good fun.
And I keep kicking myself. I cannot believe that I have a subscription to Star Wars Insider, and we never talk about it on the show.
Right.
We never talk about it. I keep forgetting I have a subscription. It's just,
you get the digital copy of it, don't you?
I get the digital. That's the problem,
Yeah.
is I get the digital copy. So
Yeah.
And I don't have an iPad anymore. My wife does, so I have to just remember to. Anyway, I just noticed because I was looking up because I just wanted to remind everybody that the next novel coming out will be here in looks like 6 weeks roughly. Mm-hmm. Star Wars Bloodline,
right,
by Claudia Gray. That's the next canon novel that's coming out, and it talks about it's basically Leia trying to become the first senator. It says basically it's basically Leia as she seeks to become the first senator of the New Republic. Mm-hmm. So this is set after episode 6. I'm sorry, in those years leading up to episode 7 that we don't really know about. So I'm definitely interested in that book.
Very cool.
But anyway, there's an article in there about Star Wars Insider. I'm like, God, I can read that. I got that. Anyway, all right, everybody. We appreciate you guys checking us out and listening. Is that it? Oh, we appreciate it too. We didn't get a chance to really talk about it, but we kind of tweeted out. But the Star Wars Podcast Awards are still there.
Right.
The finalists are out there now. Unfortunately, we did not make the finalist list, but we appreciate everybody who nominated us for hosts and stuff like that. So, but the finalists are now able. You guys can go on there and actually vote for the finalists. I think every category is down to 5 podcasts now or something like that. So, pretty cool to see our names up there though on the nominee list. So, we appreciate it. It's StarWarsPodcastAwards.com. You can go check that out and vote. All right, so we will be back hopefully later this week after we watch Rebels. Mm-hmm. As Casey kind of buys time, I'll tell you what comics are coming out here in this.
Right. One more little piece of news too before I talk about the profile is Battlefront's getting another update.
Oh yeah.
The season pass is going to be kicking in here soon in the next few weeks, I believe. But there are some free updates that you can download. So there's the big expansion though for the season pass owners. It's called the Outer Rim expansions. And I haven't really used too many details about that. But the free patches and DLCs that you can download soon in the next week is mainly it's going to be a new map called Survivors of Endor. So there's a little trailer you can look up about that, about the new update for Battlefront. But I'm just trying to find, there is a date where it comes out, March 23rd. We'll see.
Oh.
The Outer Rim expansion comes out March 23rd, and I believe... Let me see here. Players that opt out of the season pass, they can get the expansion. Oh, so you can actually buy the expansion separately on April 5th. But if you have the season pass, you'll get it March 23rd. And there'll be 4 maps included with that expansion. One called Palace Garage, Jabba's Palace, Sorasub Pipelines, and Sorasub Refinery. So the last 2 of those Sorasub ones are taking place on Tatooine, and the first 2 are on Sullust, which is... the first 2, the Jabba's ones, of course, is on Tatooine, and the Sorasub ones are on Sullust. And then But the free one that we'll be getting really soon, separate from the expansion, is a map called Survivors of Endor. And that's not included in the expansion at all. It's free download for all players. So it's just some maps are coming out, a few things. And I could have sworn I saw somewhere where we might be getting Yoda, but I haven't looked more into that. But
I'll tell you what's an awesome map is the Twilight Hoth.
Twilight,
Have you been on there?
I haven't been to the new one yet, no. But
Man, it's crazy because the snow is like, it's hard to see.
Really?
The snow's blowing, and it's like,
cool.
oh, it's really neat.
It's pretty awesome.
It's really neat.
So, sorry, I hit the mic there. New profile for this week, coming out from the DK book, Ultimate Star Wars, which is so far, although they're already, I think, adding to it and coming with new versions soon. But everything that is canon so far, so it's pretty thick encyclopedia here. So today we're going to talking about Palpatine's apartment, which actually has a little part in this book. They actually have a little profile in here. So Palpatine's apartment appearances apparently only appeared in episode 1, where Palpatine was talking to Padme, or Queen Amidala, I suppose, at the time. The location, so the address or whatever, it's at 500 Republica, Galactic City, Coruscant. It's that big apartment complex. I think that's where Padme's apartment also is located. 500 Republica. So this apartment here, it's one of the most prestigious. Well, it's in the most prestigious residential tower in the Senate District on Coruscant. But he has actually a very modest apartment compared to some of the other senators and representatives across the galaxy. His apartment, it consists of an expansive suite of rooms, which he decorates in different hues of scarlet, which is his favorite color, as you can probably guess. Red, scarlet. And he has unusual art objects that are supposed to reflect his worldly point of view. And that was kind of an EU thing as well, where he collected a lot of artifacts, a lot of objects. He had 2 statues in his office, I guess, and in the EU, that's where he kept his lightsabers stored inside these statues of some sort. So, in his apartment, he has all these unusual art objects. Very cultured man, and to keep his guests safe, whoever stays in his his apartment, he has in each room of his apartment discrete surveillance and security systems, which enable him to know immediately whether his guests have any special requirements or require assistance. And it's just interesting because also, he designs his apartment to, it says here, help pacify argumentative visitors and make every guest feel assured of their host's diplomatic authority. So in a way, it seems like he's trying to be obliging in his way he designs his apartment. Like he wants his guests to feel comfortable and welcomed, I guess. But it's such a strange thing because also it says he wants his guests to feel, assured of his authority. So it's like, in a way, it might even say he wants his guests to feel too comfortable so he can take advantage of them. So he can use his power, if he has other senators, because we saw those scenes in episode 1 where he basically would have Padme in his apartment talking about how, we need to do the vote of no confidence, so it's all because of the colors and the artwork that he has. It helps pacify his guests. So
nice.
There you go. It's Palpatine's apartment. Palpatine's apartment. Sheev's pad.
All right, real quick, some cool tidbits I got here. Absolutely everything you need to know about Star Wars. Real quick, a little bit about the Empire here. So on the Death Star in Episode 4, I want to kind of point out what they have in here is the top brass of the first Death Star. Now, I knew about these people, but I actually know their duties. Okay. So you got Grand Moff Wilhelm Tarkin, obviously. He's the governor of the Outer Rim Territories, Death Star commander. So that's where those are his roles. You got Admiral Antonio Motti. Mm-hmm. Now, he was chief of the Imperial Navy.
Yeah.
Member of the Joint Chiefs.
Okay.
Then you had General Cassio Tag, which is actually in the Vader comic a lot because he's the one that, after the Death Star was destroyed, he survived.
Yeah.
But he's actually chief of the Imperial Army.
Okay. Stormtroopers.
Mahdi's the Navy. Yeah, Tag is the Army. So I guess the Stormtroopers and the Ground Troopers. Yeah. Mahdi's the ships, Star Destroyers. He's also a member of the Joint Chiefs. Now, then you got Admiral Wolof Yularen.
Oh, okay.
Right? Yularen, who is in Star Wars Clone Wars.
Yes, he is.
He is the gentleman with the white hair, kind of in the white, almost really light-colored Imperial outfit
in episode 4.
In episode 4.
Yeah.
He is Deputy Director, Imperial Security Bureau and Naval Intelligence Agency.
Okay.
So he's the Deputy Director of the Bureau. I mean, just real cool to know that stuff. Also has the ranks here, how Admiral, Captain, Moff. Interesting last fact here. How many people were killed on Alderaan when it was destroyed?
Oh, gosh. Millions? I don't know where to guess.
2
billions or
2
billion
lives
Good
lost
gosh.
when Alderaan was destroyed in seconds by the Death Star. So Obi-Wan was wrong when he said...
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think.
Did he say millions?
I thought he said millions. Or...
I think he said millions.
Yeah.
No one thought of anything. I don't think a billion existed in the 70s.
I have no idea. Did it reach a billion yet?
Yeah, I don't think so. All right, guys. That's it for us here on Inside the Force.
I have a quote ready.
Oh, as he gets the quote ready, I will just say, of course, InsideTheForce.com is where you can find links to all of our stuff. We are in the process, actually, of updating our websites. I just want to kind of throw that out there. We are going to actually supply more news and stuff on our websites here coming soon. So hopefully you'll be able to go there and get some news like you do on any other shows.
Yeah.
I know you're getting a lot of it just listening to our show, but I want to make it more interactive on our websites actually. So we're working on getting that stuff to you throughout the 21 network. But thanks for listening. Of course, you can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, or of course right from the website. As you do, our RSS feed is right there as well to subscribe there through your RSS reader. He is Kryptonian1138 on Twitter. I am D Cottingham21 on Twitter. Of course, the show is at Inside the Force. Again, Greg Grunberg, get his full interview on our YouTube channel and go on eBay and bid on this fantastic figure, a signed figure from Snap Wexley.
Snap Wexley.
All right, guys. I appreciate it. Quote.
Yes.
He's Casey Cooley.
At last we will reveal ourselves, the Jedi. At last we will have revenge. And I don't know why I didn't think of that to begin with, because I've been kind of on a Maul kick.
Really? Yeah.
Because there's that short film that came out.
Oh, yes. Dang it.
Darth
Short
Maul
film.
Apprentice. Go watch it. Darth Maul Apprentice, fantastic. About 20 minutes
About
long?
17 minutes,
long.
I think.
Took him 2 years to make that. It's worth it. They definitely pulled it off.
It's by far probably the best fan film I've seen.
Yeah. But also thinking of Darth Maul. Like there's this new app out there called, I think it's called Masquerade. It's MSQRD, where you can like make your face look like Darth Maul. It's part of it. And talk on. But yeah, that short film, definitely check it out. It's fantastic. There's a behind the scenes featurette on it as well.
It's getting massive views already. The Maul in there is legit. The fighting is legit. Now, of course, I can knock the story a little bit. It's always real simple storylines when it kind of gets to just Jedi fighting and stuff like that. But
it's still kind of cool. It kind of like
there's a little bit of a story there
at the end there, especially Maul. There's a little something,
a little bit
surprise there with Maul towards the end there. It's pretty cool.
It's very well acted.
Yeah.
Cinematography's great. So yes, go check it out. It's pretty awesome. So, all right, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching us on YouTube as well. Hit us up with some more questions, and I'm sure we'll have some more giveaways here coming soon. So we appreciate you guys. We are Inside the Force. He's Casey.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm Dave, and may the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.